This is a quick video on getting started with your portfolio. Now, this is not about the content that you put in your portfolio. We'll have a separate video on that. This is just the technical stuff on getting started. So the first thing you're going to need to do is to log into your cqulaw.net account and set up your account there. Now, these accounts have been created for you and they are on the Google Apps for Education platform. Now, very quickly, the difference between this and your CQU Mail account. Your CQU Mail account is your official university account. So all your official things connect to that, your official university mail, Moodle, anything you need to log into the university website to get access to. cqulaw.net, on the other hand, is a service that's been provided to us by Google, and it gives us access to the whole suite of business apps that you usually have to pay for that they're giving us for free. At the beginning, we're just going to be using this to create portfolios, but there are a whole series of other tools that come with it. So it comes with an email account, like a Gmail account. It comes with Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Calendar, all the things you get with a normal Google account. The key difference between these things, I guess, is first of all, the CQU Mail account is the official one that we've for doing business with the university. The cqulaw.net one is gives us a lot of bonus extras that honestly the university couldn't afford to provide for us, that Google are generously giving us access to. The other key difference is when you graduate, your CQU Mail account will close down and you'll no longer have access to any of the resources there. However, your cqulaw.net, your Google account, will continue onward, and you'll be able to continue to have your portfolio and anything else that you build or use in that site. So I think that's a big benefit to everyone as well. Now, your cqulaw.net account will be your first name dot your second name at cqulaw.net. That will be your username. Now, if there is something unusual about your name, for instance, you might be John Smith, the third John Smith we've had in the program, you'll get an email explaining what account name will give you. Your password will be set, everyone's will be set the same at the start, which will be ACE Attorney. One word, 2 capital A's. The first thing you'll be asked to do when you get into your account is to change that to something personal. Okay, so to log into your account, the first thing you're going to need to do is to go to the URL accounts.google.com, and if you're like me, you're already logged into your other Gmail account, so we need to go sign into a different account, add account. Now this is where you put in your new username, which remember is first name dot second name. This is a dummy account, so it's just called dummy. Next, and you enter your password, which will be ACE Attorney, and sign in. Now the very first thing it'll ask you to do is to change it to a different password. So pick one that's secure and that you're going to remember. And hopefully I've done this right. That looks much better. And this will take you into your Google account screen. You're all logged in up here. If you need to change your accounts, you can click here and you can add accounts and sign out, which is very useful. And the other thing that's useful here is you can set your password recovery options here. So signing into Google here, you can change your sign-in method, you can add a recovery account, you can add a recovery phone number there as well. So that's a good way of, rather than having to email me when things go wrong, actually setting up a recovery account to maybe your personal email or maybe your university email account. Now your account will also give you a Gmail account, and it's probably a good one if you don't have a professional email account which you want to use for job interviews and so on, and job applications. This is probably a good one to use. I want to show you something very quickly before we get onto the portfolios, and that's how to forward your mail from this account, because you may not want to use this account at all. You may want to just use your other accounts. So if you don't want to miss out on any email that might come to this account, you go to settings here, forwarding, POP and IMAP, add a forwarding address. And now you can add a forwarding address in here That'll send all the mail that comes to this account to perhaps your university mail account or your personal Gmail account. All right, now we need to get into the site itself. Now the link you need to go to is sites.google.com. And if you get in there, you'll find that you should have the screen you see here, pretty much a blank page. What you're able to do from here is to create a new site. Now, first things, make sure you have a look at the terms and conditions site via Moodle. This is very, very important. You need to only use your portfolio site for approved purposes, which means creating a student portfolio, and anything which is inappropriate, which breaches the terms and conditions, will get taken down. And in fact, if it's serious enough, there may be disciplinary activity involved if you're, for instance, deciding to run your own pirate network. In fact, if you're doing that, there's probably going to be criminal activity charges involved as well. So it's very important. The first thing you do is have a look at the terms and conditions. And by creating a site, you're agreeing to those terms and conditions. Now, once you've done that, once you're happy to do that, make sure you're signed into your Google Apps for Education account, and that's the cqulaw.net account. Don't confuse that with your CQ Uni student account. They're different accounts. Most of the problems people have had with this in the past are because they're signed into the wrong account. So make sure you sign into the right account, go to sites.google.com and hit create. And you should, very briefly, get the ability to create a new site. Now, this is a dummy account, so I'm going to call it dummy account portfolio. Of course, you're going to call it something more appropriate to you, your name and your portfolio. You name your site. Down here, it'll tell you what the URL for the site will be, and you can change this very last part of it if you like. It's now got that rather long URL, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And there are other options you can do there, selecting themes and so on, but we're not going to do that just now. We're going to start just with the basics, and we're going to hit create. Now, it'll take a little bit of time. And there is your portfolio set up and ready to go. Now, of course, there's no content there at the moment. And one of the first things you're going to need to do is add content and edit it. So this button here is the edit button, and it'll open up an interface like the sort of thing that you're familiar with in word processing, where you can just type things, add formatting and so on. I've copied and pasted I've copied the template in the Word doc that's linked on Moodle, and I've just pasted it in like that. So that should put my template there ready to go, and I can give it a title. Portfolio here. And I hit save, and it'll save the site. Alright, now you can get in at any time and alter this and change it. And one of the wonderful things about portfolios is that you can update them all the time. There are all sorts of other things under this cog here which provide other options and things we can do. And we will talk about those in a separate video. Probably the most important thing for the moment is this one down here, sharing and permissions. Because at the moment your site's been set up that only you can view it. And of course that's not going to be much use as a portfolio because you need to be able to show it to employers and so on. So what you need to do is go into the sharing section, and here is the link that you can use that you can send to other people to share. Now obviously that's a very long URL, and that's largely because of the fact that this is part of our network. If you know what you're doing, you could always set up a bit.ly link, which will create a shorter link for you. Or if you're feeling really flush, you can buy a domain name just for your portfolio. Although they're not that expensive. Have a look at sites like GoDaddy. That'll give you some information. So that's what people will be able to access the site through. What you want to be able to do is to allow people to see it, of course. So we go here to change. We change it to anyone with a link. You can make it public on the web as well if you like, but it's probably better to just only have people who have the actual URL be able to access it. And down here at the bottom it says anyone can view, no sign-in required, and that's what you want. You want that to be set. So you hit save there, and what it should tell you is that anyone who has the link can view the site, and that's exactly what you want to be able to do, because you want to be able to cut and paste that link. You want to be able to send it as a part of a job interview letter. You want to be able to add it to your LinkedIn account, all those sorts of things. And you also want to link it to the document that you hand in for assessment as well. So that's the basics of setting up a portfolio. We'll go back to the account itself. You see we've got some basic material there. I've just got the templates material. We can add graphics to it. We can add links to documents and other evidence. We can do all sorts of things. The other thing is there's also a share button up there. Remember we went through that menu and we had a look. There's also the share button. That's a much simpler way to get to it. Now the other thing, before I'll do another video where we talk about adding material and modifying your portfolio, but one of the really useful things that comes from Google Docs is your ability to look at the revision history and to revert to earlier versions. So if we go here under the cog, revision history, it'll talk about it. You'll be able to have a look at the different versions of your account and go back to earlier versions, compare the different versions. Of course, there's nothing in this version, and revert to it. So what it means is you really can't break anything. And if you experiment and you realize that you think you've done something and your site looks terrible, your portfolio looks terrible, you can go back to the revision history and just go back to an earlier one. And that's one of the wonderful things about working with Google's Apps for Education, is it provides you with that safety net, and it gives you space to think about it and experiment and explore a little bit more. Okay, so what we've done through this video is we've set up our Google Apps for Education account, we've made sure we've signed into it, we've created our portfolio, and then we've shared the portfolio so that other people can view it. The next video will have a bit of a look at including more content and different content there, and have a look at the fictional portfolio that's on Moodle if you want an example of what sorts of things you can include in your portfolio, or what kind of the different ways that you can fill out those details. So get in, have a go. That's the important thing. And if you've never done anything like this before, these are very important skills for you to obtain. And this is a good environment for you to experiment in somewhere where it's safe and easy for you to learn from your mistakes.